Elodia Ghinescu entered the world on September 27, 1968. Besides her birthday, little is known about her early life. According to Elodia Ghinescu, Elodia's mother, she excelled in school and was bright and intelligent. Elodia's good grades got her into university, where she chose to study law. Thanks to English language TV programming, along with programs and films in German and French, Elodia mastered many languages beside her native Romanian. As expected, she excelled at university and averaged close to 10 on every exam and assessment. By the end of her degree, the Faculty of Law invited her to the bar without having to take the formal examination. By the early 2000s, Elodia was living in Brasov with her police officer husband, and she was working a dream job. But it appears Elodia had a wandering eye. One day when she was accompanying a client to the Brasov police station, she locked eyes with Officer Konstantin Christian Shocker, known as Christian. The pair instantly fell in love, and every time Elodia was at the Brasov police station, she made sure to spend as much time with Christian as possible. Elodia and Christian were married to different people, but quickly agreed to divorce. On July 18, 2004, Christian and Elodia tied the knot. By December 2004, the pair had welcomed their first and only child, Patrick, into the world. From the outside looking in, it appeared that Elodia and Christian had the perfect marriage, but not all that glitters is gold. Following the birth of their son, their marriage broke down, and accusations of extramarital affairs began flying. According to an article by Liberté, it was confirmed that both Elodia and Christian were having affairs. The pair desperately tried to keep up appearances and be the model family others thought they were. Between August 18th and August 26, 2007, Elodia is believed to have gone on holiday with a protection and guard service member who she was having an affair with. She told her husband, Christian, that the holiday to Dubai had been provided by one of her clients as a thank you for her services. Christian likely didn't believe the story but played along as he was not so innocent himself. Upon her return, Elodia is said to have uploaded her holiday photos to the family computer. These photos also contain the man that she was having an affair with, and it is widely believed that Christian came across these photos whilst using the computer himself. On August 28, 2007, it is speculated that Christian went and spent the night with his mistress, likely in an act of revenge. Whilst Christian dabbled in petty acts of revenge, the following evening would go down in Romanian criminal history. The specifics are contested, but the Romanian media would latch onto Elodia's case for years to come, creating a bizarre content bubble surrounding her name. August 29, 2007 is the last day that Elodia was ever seen alive. Phone records show that on the afternoon of the 29th, Elodia called her husband 7 times, requesting his presence at her law office. It was no secret to Elodia's friends and family that she desperately wanted a divorce, but it appears Christian did not take the news well. Christian arrived at the office where he and Elodia went over the terms of their divorce. Before the conversation even began, Elodia asked her assistant to leave, making her the last known person to see Elodia alive. After talking out at the office, Elodia and Christian returned home, where the arguments continued. During this argument, Christian finally confronted his wife about the extramarital affair she had been having. He presented her with emails that he had found on the laptop too. According to the media, Christian was on duty that night and then returned home at 2:20 a.m, where his tirade against Elodia continued. The next morning, Christian awoke, took care of his son, and arrived at work for his shift, but Elodia was nowhere to be seen. Her law firm and family were suspicious and concerned at her lack of contact, and then continued to try and get hold of her throughout the rest of the day. Despite the obvious concerns from her family and friends, Christian waited until September 5th, 2007 to report his wife missing. Elodia's bizarre disappearance sent the Romanian media into a frenzy, with the TV station OTV taking a special interest in the case. Christian, along with Elodia's family, fronted the media begging for any information. Elodia's mother, Emilia, who has been very vocal about her daughter's case, even posted a $40,000 reward for information. Romanian media ran Elodia's story every day, and with every day that passed, the theories in her case became more and more bizarre. On October 8, 2007, officers searching a ravine near Rasnov found several items belonging to Elodia. They found a perfume bottle, a pistol holster, and the packaging of another perfume belonging to Elodia. But most damning of all, they found a male police uniform. Christian tried to deny that the shirt belonged to him, telling his fellow police officers that, he didn't wear a short-sleeved shirt for his shift on August 29th. However, officers quickly uncovered CCTV footage of him wearing that very shirt that night at a gas station in Brasov. Most importantly, the items found in the ravine were covered in blood. Following this discovery, Christian quickly flipped from a concerned husband to a defensive suspect, proclaiming that the evidence had been planted by the police or Elodia's family in a bid to make him look guilty. The Romanian police had key pieces of evidence, but they were lacking the biggest one: Elodia's body. Despite all the evidence in this case, they feared that without a body, the courts would not find Christian guilty. Whilst the police were defeated, the Romanian media made sure that one way or another, Elodia and her family would find justice. The Romanian media was certainly enthusiastic about this cryptic mystery happening in their own land, but others saw their coverage as inappropriate. Governing bodies in Romania warned the media about their inappropriate coverage, especially OTV. OTV was a very controversial channel in the 2000s in Romania, and it didn't help that it was run by Dan Ghinescu, a controversial figure in Romanian pop culture. Whilst most of the programming on OTV was strange and somewhat funny, following the disappearance of Elodia, they crossed the line in a major way. In late 2007, OTV's host was accused of trying to hire a hacker to break into Elodia's laptop and uncover private emails between her and her lover. This bears parallels to a similar scandal in the UK, which saw the newspaper The News of the World hack into the voicemail of Millie Dowler, who disappeared in 2002. News of the World wanted the inside scoop, and in doing so interrupted a huge police investigation, not to mention causing the family a great deal of heartache in an already difficult time. As it turns out, Dan Ghinescu wasn't the only one trying to access Elodia's emails, and in 2008, Christian was also arrested for trying to hack into her emails. No charges or sentences were ever brought forward against him for this, but the investigation into her disappearance did continue. Investigators noticed that in the days after Elodia disappeared, her husband had painted the walls of their apartment, prompting them to search further. Their search uncovered droplets of blood between and underneath the floorboards of their master bedroom. Traces of blood were also found in the boot of Christian's car. In my source list, you will find an article that details all of the locations where the blood spatter was found. With all of the evidence mounted against him, Christian still tried to claim that he had no hand in his wife's disappearance. He told the media that he thought she had just run away with another man, and would creepily smile any time the subject was raised. He also told investigators that there was solid proof that his wife was alive and well, citing a court document that Elodia had filed for a case in the beginning of September. When investigators looked further into the matter, they found the document did not contain Elodia's signature. It was also discovered that Christian had called his wife's legal office and asked them to obtain a certificate of postponement on behalf of his wife. It only took a matter of months before Christian dropped the facade of a loving and worried husband. A few months after she disappeared, he began living with his new girlfriend and son, as if nothing had happened. Despite his disinterest in the case, Elodia Ghinescu, Elodia's mother, continued fighting. By 2008, Elodia's case had taken on a life of its own in Romanian media, and OTV continued holding weekly segments discussing quote-unquote conspiracy theories surrounding her disappearance. Despite being told these were inappropriate, channels continued using her name to garner views. Elodia's case ran cold by mid-2008, and the chatter around her case began to die down. As years passed, her name was still a highlight in the media, but leads, along with interest, kind of fizzled out. Then, in 2011, the Romanian legal system dropped a bombshell. They had declared Elodia Ghinescu deceased in absentia. A year later, in September 2012, Christian was arrested and charged with the murder of his wife. Investigators harnessed new forensic technologies to confirm that the blood in the floorboards belonged to Elodia. Christian told investigators that the blood found in his boot belonged to his son, who had cut his finger. He also explained away the drops of blood found in the floorboards by saying that Elodia had performed 2 terminations at home, and just for a note, terminations are legal in Romania up to 14 weeks. Doctors who consulted on Elodia's case testified that due to the amount of blood she had lost, she would have not survived without medical intervention. During the trial, the prosecution would put forward their indictment of what happened on August 29th/30th, 2007. Quote, using a large travel bag purchased by the victim during the holidays in Dubai, as well as a shower curtain, the defendant, Christian, transported the body fragments into the boot of his car and hid them in an unknown place. End quote. They also added the harrowing detail that Patrick, Elodia's son, was present for all of this. For 2 years, the trial raged on. Lawyers on both sides argued back and forth about the validity of the evidence, and the case was somewhat controversial in the fact that the prosecution could not produce Elodia's body. Christian's counsel filed several appeals, and throughout he maintained his innocence. The trial only added to Elodia's family's pain. Her personal and professional life were put on blast for everyone to see. Media outlets ran with Elodia's story again, and the bizarre conspiracy theories again came to a head. Some presenters postulated that Elodia was alive, whilst others tried to connect her disappearance to some sort of shady organisation through her work as a lawyer. After years of back and forth, Christian Shaka was found guilty of murdering his wife, Elodia Ghinescu. The decision was upheld by Romanian high courts in 2014. For his crimes, Christian was sentenced to serve 15 years in prison, with time taken away for time previously served whilst in custody and awaiting trial. On August 22nd, 2023, Christian was released after serving just 10 years, as his parole request was accepted. He told the media, quote, "Today is the first day of the rest of my life. Starting from here, imagine how I will live." End quote. According to his family, Christian is now settled in a new town and is working as a truck driver and wishes to live a quiet life away from the spotlight. Christian's mother, Florica, told Capital.ro that her son also wants to publish a book about his experiences in prison. This has been a controversial move and a contradiction to his statement about wanting a quiet life. Florica herself has been dominating the spotlight as well following her son's arrest and eventual release. In a bizarre interview, she told Romania TV that she believes Elodia is still alive, and here is a quote from that interview. Elodia may be in Romania, working as a lawyer under a different identity. She was interested in changing her physiology, doing a facelift from the beginning of her marriage because she was 8 years older than him and did not want the age difference between them to stand out. I also think that Elodia could live in a secluded place, such as the family boarding house. Unknown cars always come and go without attracting attention. End quote. Florica has always upheld her son's innocence and continues to give interviews about her son's case. Patrick, Elodia's son, turned 20 this year, and after his mother disappeared, he went to live with his maternal grandparents. According to Elodia's mother, Amelia, Patrick studied psychology but is now interested in a career in the military. Christian refuses to acknowledge his guilt and will certainly never reveal where Elodia's body is. Elodia's family continues to fight for justice and search for her body. All in all, Elodia's case was risky, as, according to sources, only 6 people in Romania have been found guilty without a body being found. But thanks to new technologies, Elodia and her family were able to get justice. This case will forever remain in the Romanian zeitgeist. After her disappearance, people made bizarre flash games called Find Elodia, and football fans even made chants about her. OTV played a huge role in Elodia's case. OTV were, warned about their conduct as information about her case kind of played 24/7, with swaths of fake information making it into the broadcast. Elodia's case, whilst huge in Romania, is something that has not really made it into the European pool of missing person cases. But I think Elodia's case absolutely deserves to be talked about. I will leave the final verdict up to you guys. Do you think Christian is guilty? And what do you think really happened to Elodia? I have been Emma Valentine, and this is True Crime Witch. Have a wonderful evening, stay safe, and stay spooky.